Good morning, my partners. In the last class, we saw the mission of the EXDE team, the organization, functions, and responsibilities for each one of the members of the EXDE group, one non-commissioned officer and 4 privates, the functions for the commander, the functions for the metal detector operator, the functions and responsibilities for the operator of the ECAS, the functions and responsibilities for the Canon guide, the capabilities of the EXDE group, and the limitations. Remember that the EXDE group doesn't or cannot operate in the urban level and cannot deactivate or manipulate explosive devices. We saw the knowledge equipment for the EXDE team, technical material, passive charge of explosives that are charged for this team, the metal detector of reference BMH3CX, that is an element very important for this exiting, is the more version used in Colombia. Your characteristics, your components, general components, carry bag, instruction card, manual, batteries, test piece, mobile carrier bar with hermetic charge head, and electronic units. We saw part by part the electronic unit, the mobile support bar with head hermetic, the batteries, the mode selector in off, normal, mineral, or volume or speaker, the control panel or display with your 4 buttons, the detection mirrors, static mirror, and dynamic mirror. The alarm settings, acoustic alarm, vibration alarm, and LED alarm on. Visual and sound signals to vary the sensibility. when pressing or when press the button plus and button less, the visual and sound signals, when we need reduce or increase the volume, pressing the button plus or button less, the visual error messages, when the batteries are low, when we have problems in the electronical unit, in the head hermetic, we spoke about the change of frequencies, automatic frequency change and manual frequency change. The compensation, when lighting the LEDs 1, 2, the middle LEDs in the display, and the last LEDs 13 and 14, like you can appreciate in your screens in this moment, the compensation has been completed with when the lights 1, 2 are lighting, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and finally 13 and 14. And when the compensation is impossible, all less is lighting. Soil compensation in mineral mode for Colombia. And in this part, we can speak, or we will speak about the elements of the equipment against explosive devices, ECAES. This is the equipment more used in Colombia and in other countries like Panama and other countries in Latin America, and because this element is very, very dynamic to the hour to use one component to detect, to locate the explosive artifacts in terrains of difficult access like the terrain of Colombia. So we have the transportation bag, one cordon or rope of longitude of 70 meters is made in nylon and cotton, one section of plastic plus one flexible section, 5 sections of aluminum. His material or their material is in aluminum, one metallic hang in shape J, one pair in aluminum. His material is in aluminum too, one metallic hang in 3 points, one dog mouth or gripping device is called them because your shape is appeared to the dog mouth. So we will speak part by part. In this moment, we have the transportation bag. It's made up of 3 housings. one inside to contain the 6 extensions plus one plastic extension. In its external part, it has 3 houses, one for the pair, other for the 3-pointed hook, and another for the anti-load handling clamp and the polypropylene thread, as well as 3 straps to secure the 70-meter long rope. Five sections of aluminum extensions with threaded terminals. The extensions are designed to be enjoined together, following an order that is determined by markings that they carry on their ends. Its purpose is to create a safety distance of 3 50 meters between the explosive device and the explosive technician. One plastic section. It is the last extension to be assembled, and its purpose is to avoid the projection of metal fragments in the event of an explosion towards the explosive technician. It is designed to attach the counterload handling clamp and or the 3-point hook stationed in polyvinyl acrylic material or plastic PVC. One flexible section in PVC. This section is used to gently remove the contour of the floor on suspicious points and is installed after the PVC extension. Polypropylene jar line is in charge of securing the 3-pointed hook and operating the closure or opening of the counterload handling clamp or the duct mouth. It is made in nylon and cotton too. Counterload handling device. This element is used with all armed extensions, and its objective is that the technician can install a counterload, hollow directed load, or pentolite demolition block next to a suspicious package at a minimum safety distance of 3 70 meters. It must be used the polypropylene thread to secure the duct mouth at the bottom and manipulate the opening of the clamp to install the counterload. Your shape is similar to the duct mouth. Hook in stainless steel material in the shape of J. This element is part of the recovery pair and must be installed at one of the ends of the mirror, the 70-meter rope. Its function is to hook large and heavy objects to remove them at a greater distance according to the situation that arises. Hook in stainless steel in the shape of 3 tops. This component is used with all armed extensions too, and his objective is to remove branches tripping cables, and suspicious elements on the ground due to the advantage it offers of hooking objects at its three ends. This is the recovery pair and hitch in aluminum. It must be tied to the 70-meter rope designed to be thrown in water areas with dense vegetation. When recovering, it locates straps of tripwires, vines, or branches. Rope of 70 meters length. This rope must have special characteristics such as lightweight for transport and a maximum elongation of the 25%. Its function is to carry the J-type hooks, a three-pointed hook, and the pier or duck mouth at one of its ends. Technical characteristics. Designed by the Military Engineers School, Colombian Army. Manufacturing, military industry, Indumil, Colombia. Weight with accessories, including carrying bag, approximately 2,000 grams. Materials used, aluminum, steel, PVC, and CPVC pipes. Paint. It's finished in olive green lacquer. Tactical characteristics. Easy transport and adherence to combat equipment. Easy to use and operate by inexperienced personnel. Tool for explosive technicians of the Martyr Group and EXDE Force teams, which guarantees the physical integrity of the operator. Maneuverability for the verification of explosive devices. Practical for the handling and installation of countercharge at a distance. It has a flexible plastic sound device for manual verification of the path to be cleared from the troops' advanced access. Its components are easy to camouflage and operate for easy mimicry and easy operation. General recommendations. Never use the equipment without using additional protection, such as a splinter suit, helmet, and splinter goggles. Avoid reusing explosive ordnance equipment. Keep the joint threads free of dirt or mud. Each extension is marked for its respective coupling with the nest. Do not perform procedures that are not authorized. At this part, we finish with the components of the ECAIS. And in this moment, we will see the procedure guide for the EXDE team. The objective of this procedure is to apply the procedures carried out by the EXDE teams in support of the maneuvering units to provide mobility and counter-mobility in rural areas, non-urban areas. So the procedure begins with the analysis of the threat. This information is provided by the operations officer, or in other case is provided by the commander unit or commander platoon. The next one is evacuate personnel, military personnel and civilian personnel that are not part of the procedure. Perform registration and perimeter security. Applies the IMAS referring to study 8 period 14 about the marking of hazards due to mines and ERW, explosive remnants of war. After that, establish a heliport. It is very important this step, because it's used in case of an accident or incident, or in case that it is required to evacuate one personnel injured. So it is very important to verify the first aid kit and nurse. Without nurse and first aid kit is not possible the evacuation, because we need to establish the injured before the evacuation. Apply search and location methods for explosive devices, like visual registration with the company lenses or binoculars. After that, register with pair and rope. After that, canine register or register with the canine. The next is trail blasting with explosives, maybe with detonating cord of reference 12 grams, or with the mini Bangalore kit. And finally, registration with metal detector. So the threat analysis is after issuing the order by the patrol commander. The EXDE team commander must analyze the terrorist objective in case of having installed a mine area, taking into account the terrain, the enemy, and the troops themselves as variables. It is important to observe the exact location of the patrol on the ground. If it is in an elevation, hollow, including the type of vegetation. In this way, a limit of the area that is considered as a threat can be established, in addition to providing a route and the evacuation area in case an accident occurs during the procedure. The people evacuation is before starting a search, location, or destruction procedure for an explosive device. Personnel who are not committed to the procedure must be evacuated to a safe or safety area that I commented you before. If the unit is moving and stops due to any indication of explosive artifacts in the advance route, for example, APM, IEG, UXO, or TRAP, all the members of the unit must make a visual search trying to establish that do not have an explosive device around them. Subsequently, the unit in coordination with the EXDE analyzes the situation and if is necessary, proceeds to carry out clearance or the mining work. Make registration and perimetrical security. After establishing the dimension of the suspicious area, the exiting commander must request the patrol commander to send personnel to inspect the area or order to open fire with the machine guns or mortars on areas that are considered too difficult access. Remember that the presence of hidden observers can be found among the vegetation, which can activate an explosive charge through the commander cable system, activate an explosive charge by frequency wave system, or attack a member of the EXDE team by means of a sniper or an ambush. Applies the IMAS referring to study 8, period 40, related with the marking of hazards due to mines and ERW, explosive remnants of war. Marking of hazards from mines and explosive remnants of war is carried out to provide a clear and unambiguous warning of hazards to the local population and, where be possible, install physical barriers to reduce the risk of unintentional entry into hazardous areas. And after that, is very necessary, is very important, establish a heliport. The anti-explosive unit, in this case the EXDE team, before carrying on a clearance or demining operation, must verify an evacuation route or provide an heliport for any situation that may occur, any accident or any incident. Verify first aid kit and nurse. Before carrying on any clearance or demining procedure, you must verify and make sure that you have the minimum elements that a first aid kit should have to provide first aid to an injured person in the event of an accident or incident by mines and explosive devices. And apply search and location methods for explosive devices. Visual registration, register with EKS, register with canine, trail blasting with explosives, and registration with metal detector. In the visual mirror, we need to use the company lenses for this visual inspection. After that, we use the parent rope, the kites, and the nest, we use the canine or the canine binomial. And finally, we use the electronic mirror. It's called them because it's called that because the metal detector is used like a electronic mirror, electronic element. So in the visual mirror, it's necessary to use binoculars or compact lenses. for identifying possible signs that lead us to determine the presence of explosive devices, and is observed ground removed, outstanding mines, alteration in roads and trails, and dead animals. Because in Colombia is usual the terrorist groups use animals to put artifacts, explosive artifacts near of these animals' death. So with the visual method, we can identify marks on the trees, areas that have not been frequented by people. The members of the whole team may identify unusual smells, patterns of nature that do not match the environment, items that pose a threat, footprints on the ground, and stumbling wire. After that, we use the sweep with the pair and rope on suspect area. Disregard the presence of tripping wires or elements that represent danger to the canine or represent danger to the members of the team. This method is through the use a rope of 70 meters, throw the pair and search protection before it hits the ground. After that, stand back, grab the end of the rope, search cover and protection again. Repeat this procedure at least 2 more times, or 3 times, 4 times, the times that is necessary depend on the situation. Advance to the registered area and repeat the sequence throughout the area to be clearer. And after that, we send the canine. It is one of the most effective tools for the search and location of explosive substances and explosive artifacts in some cases. With this specimen, we can locate immediately some substance, or in any cases, some artifacts that are located in the ground. Usually after the pair and rope method, the canine enters the suspicious area only. The guide stays in the safety area, in a safety area. Once the canine gives the positive signal, the guide catalyst identifies the area and proceeds to stimulate it. So after we finish the process, the procedure with the all elements that are part of the EXDE team, we pass to the destruction of explosive artifact in the case that we already found some artifact on the ground. For this destruction, we need to comply, or we need to use the IMAS 9 period 30 about the cleaning of mines and explosive remnants of war, and the IMAS 9 period 11 about the destruction and neutralization of explosive artifacts. Explosive ordnance destruction and neutralization involves the disposal of explosive ordnance, including mines and explosive remnants of war. Once the road is clear, the EXDE team commander enters and confirms the presence of mines or IEDs. In case of detracting from the presence of APM or IEDs, you must start with the search methods again until the suspicious area is clear. If the presence of a mine or IED is confirmed, the commander must apply the most appropriate destruction method, applying all security measures and employing all means of personal protection. We have the methods for destruction. In this case is controlled method. It consists of using an explosive of greater or equal power to detonate another due to the sympathy effect, which is the activation of an explosive by the shock wave produced by the first. For this method, demolition blocks are usually used. The directed load method consists in locate a directed charge of 50 grams of pentolite, applying a principle called Monroe, the Monroe effect, which tries to convert the gases produced by the explosion into a thermal effect, which can reach temperatures of 3,000 to 4,000 degrees Celsius, forming a jet of heat directed towards a certain point with approximately 85% of the force of the explosive. Improvised loading method. It is applied when the EXDE equipment does not have the necessary material to carry out the destruction by means of a countercharge or directed charge, or cannot approach the dangerous device. The versatility and flexibility of the detonating core is used to improvise manufacture a directed charge with the top of a plastic bottle and water sometimes. And finally, we have clearance methods, two methods, by paths or trails and by zones. These methods apply to clearance for the location of mobile patrol bases and the creation of temporary helipads. Once the EXDE team carries the clearance by paths or zones methods, it must use markers or small flags to determine the limits of the registered areas. In by zones, we use two or more groups of the EXDE teams. to review different zones, or in other situations. For example, when we need to review, to check one heliport, or one area that are very, very extensive, very, very long. In this case, we use 2 or more EXDE groups by zones. In this part, we finished this important class related with the tactics, techniques, and procedure of the EXDE teams. The questions you can write in the Drupal chat or in the WhatsApp chat created for the PTech for this class. Thank you very much for your attention.